I swung from some chandeliers now.
We got some, stuff.
Amen. Amen.
But
amen.
Nonetheless,
play the music. No, I'm just playing.
All is fair in love and marriage. Discussing everything from A to Z, cause that's the way it's supposed to be, yeah. All is fair in love and marriage. We may agree to disagree, but in the end we know it's you and me, yeah.
What's good, everybody?
What's going on?
It is us.
It's us, the Newsomes.
And this is
the All is Fair in Love and Marriage podcast. We lost count.
We here. That's all that matters.
Y'all here, we here.
Everybody's here.
We here.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's been real. It's been a long time.
That's been a minute.
We've been kind of busy.
Yeah.
Busy and tired and traveling and living and family-ing.
All
of that. But we can't forget about our assignment, our purpose.
And that's y'all.
That is. So we thank you guys for tuning in.
Yup.
So make sure y'all liking,
sharing,
and subscribing.
All of that. So
we do our little proclamation, but we kind of let it go because we were trying to do the whole, okay, yeah, granted we do the podcast and we talk about stuff and, we discuss, and we at first said we're going to leave it down here. We're going to let it go.
That never happened.
That ain't true.
It always continues. It spills over.
Not always. It has not always continued. However, it has sparked a lot of times when we talk down here. It sparks more thoughts and more, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, the proclamation is that we just gonna be real.
Y'all gonna get what we give y'all.
We just gonna be real. I mean, we gonna give y'all something, and then next week we might do a continuation because we might go upstairs and have a conversation and then come back and be like, yo, how about we talked about some more stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And I changed my mind.
To happen. It's bound to happen.
Yes, it's gonna happen. So today, the last 2 weeks have been kind of hefty for us. Not in a bad way, but just
nonstop,
and just I'm like, Lord, give me stuff, to talk about. Okay, first of all,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, peep it.
She crossing on over.
Yes. Anywho, I've begun my journey.
Yeah.
Into the Lock Nation.
Lockety lock.
We have been just doing stuff, right? And I was like, Lord, I want to keep it real and keep it, creative and out the box and real, because a lot of stuff that we talk about, stuff that everybody else go through, or some people go through, or someone might need to hear,
mm-hmm.
right? So I gotta learn to shut up and stop saying stuff, because it always creates stuff that, are we really ready for that? Do we really want that? Because if you guys go back a few episodes, y'all know season 1, that All is Fair in Love and Marriage was born in me talking too much.
Yep.
I was like, you know what, Jesus, this book needs a little more meat. I think one of us might have to have an affair.
You sound crazy to y'all too, right?
That's what I said. And guess what? It unfolded. So, fast forward, right? So, we have affaired, reunited, and it felt so good.
How good?
It was enough sex on the internet today. Okay, so we moved on. We, moved on in life. We've, had one other. And just, kind of graduated to another level. So last week we were out, right? We were doing, some family things, engagement, singing, whatever, right? And I texted a friend and I was like, yo, how Court and old boy like laughing and chatting it up? Like, who does that? And she was like, yeah, because that's a man thing. Like, men, they forgive and it's like, whatever, it's life. Like, it goes on. I was like, nah, bruh. Ain't no way I'm about to sit up and kiki with old girl. Fast forward a couple days. And come to find out, we were going to be in the same vicinity together. And I was like, you know what? I'm not that healed yet. So I want to know, like, and I guess I look for a lot of responses too from people that are listening. How do you really move on? Because it's not working for me.
I don't know. I don't really have an answer. You gotta, you can't desire to want to hold on to anything.
I don't know that I do.
As much as you say, I wanna be healed, I wanna move forward, I wanna do that, but I still want them to get what's coming. Like, you can't have both.
I don't really want anybody to get anything coming to them because I know that God he's handled it.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say he's handling it because he ain't gotta do stuff over and over and over again. But I think for me, I don't know. I feel like I just don't know. Like, I don't know if, like, I'm good until I think about stuff. And then, like, my mind is like a domino effect. And it just, like, goes and goes and goes. And I'm like, and I'm mad at you all over again. And I don't want to talk to you. And all of that.
So what is your actual prayer concerning the situation?
To be honest, no. I was about to say, I don't even think I prayed about it. But that's not true. I have prayed, and I think, honestly, so I've prayed for, like, amnesia against, like with those certain situations. I've prayed for, like, I really have prayed for God to soften my heart. I really prayed for God to really, like, just take things away from my memory. But I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing to do. I've also prayed, literally just last week, I prayed for freedom of oppression. Because I never understood exactly what it was that, like, causes things to, like, sit and weigh on me. Mm-hmm. Like, to just be like, and I just can't let it go. Like are things that I hold on to forever. And it's not that I just, like, want to hold on to it and be heavy and, like, just be depressed or be in this mood, or I don't always allow it to affect my feelings. Mm-hmm. But my mind is really like a domino effect. Like, I really could think about a restaurant, I don't even know, a random restaurant, and be like, the whole trickle effect, you know what I mean? So, like, I definitely have issues when it comes to that, to, like, letting stuff go. Like, I don't want to walk around heavy. I don't want to walk around just not full of joy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. But it just happens. And I don't know how to shake it. Like, I really, like I said, last week, I put words to it. Because, you know how sometimes Like, and I've always stood by the fact that you can't really be delivered from something that you can't put a name to, or that you won't put a name to. Like, if you're like, no, I just do this, nah sis, that's this. Or nah,
same way you deal with addiction. Like
Right.
if you can't admit the fact that this is your issue, you can never really move forward from the issue.
right, admitting it, or knowing what it is.
Knowing exactly what it is.
And like, spiritually, it's very difficult, or sometimes it can be difficult to identify what the spirit is that you're dealing with, because of course normally you just be like, oh, I'm heavy. I even asked Court the other day, I'm like, yo, do you think I'm battling depression? Because I couldn't figure out what it was that would have me. Sometimes I'm driving and I just be like, oh, and just like get in this mood. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? And it don't be anything specific. Like, it's nothing, oh, I ain't got no money in my bank account, because thank God that has not been my testimony in a very long time.
Right.
Like, that's not it. Or, like, I don't know. But I just really been like jacked up. Like, and then on Thursday night, not Tuesday, I almost said Tuesday, when First Lady was praying about oppression and like breaking oppression, I was like, I never ever called it that. I never identified it as oppression, because when I think oppression, I think woke people always saying black people are oppressed. And I'm like, I'm not oppressed. But then I thought about it. I'm oppressed in my own mind by the thoughts that I just refuse to let go, the past that I just refuse to let go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to pray this up off me. But I think it's going to take a lot more prayer of that. Like, I have to like diligently pray against it, because I haven't known what it was for a very long time.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier something about praying for amnesia and praying.
Somebody prayed that for me years ago. No. This lady, like, I pray amnesia against it, Lord.
See, I don't want to forget what I've been through. I mean, do I want to feel the effects of it? Absolutely not. But it's a testimony. It's something that God brought me over and God brought me through. True. And
if I had amnesia, we wouldn't be sitting here.
And exactly. And for me to want to take away the situation that he brought me out of is stealing the glory from him.
That's true.
So I would never pray that prayer. I mean, in that situation, maybe I would say, that the sting of it be taken away, right. or the feelings that come because of the situation, those situations. Absolutely, I don't want none of that. But take away the memory of In the Bible, when something came and they were afflicted by something and they overcame it, they built an altar to remember and to glorify God. So I mean, nah.
I hear you. I totally understand and get it, because you don't want to forget your testimony. Mm-hmm. You don't want to forget, the trials that you've been through, because if you forget the trials that you've been through, the victory means nothing. Mm-hmm. The victory has less, value. So I guess for me, like I said, I had to continue to pray against oppression and pray against it just weighing on me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't want that.
Yeah, and I'm definitely praying with you. Yeah, the fight get on my nerves. I'm definitely praying with you in regard to that. We haven't really been faced with that situation for a while.
Right.
And we haven't really checked in on that whole situation either. So I apologize about that. Not, checking in and seeing how you were with things, and just, doing a pulse check on us, you know?
Yeah, we haven't done a pulse check in a while. We used to do them often, especially when we first started, because we were essentially a lot of the topics, not all of the topics, were like in real time, but not all of them. Like, it was a lot of stuff that just wasn't like the most popular episode that we have online is fornicating with my spouse. And that one, ironically, is, I mean, it's not really a thing for me anymore at all. I know what it is now. Okay. But like our pastor and first lady was talking about sex with your spouse and how it's supposed to be just wonderful between your spouse and your husband and nobody else. But it's supposed to be, and it's like, okay, I have to condition my mind because, and it's not even just committed, like when I talked about that in the past about fornication with my spouse, it was more so because we had sex before we were married, and because of that, it was like, okay, well, we're still doing it, but it don't feel like it's supposed to be done, right? But now I realize that it's not necessarily that either. It was because as growing up, you didn't talk about sex in the church whatsoever.
There's unfortunately, there's almost no exposure to sex and the proper way to do it, and why it was created, and what it was for, and what it was always intended to be, and the great thing that God created. But it's never talked about in church. It's taboo to talk about it. Still, it's been taboo. Like, I remember being 16, having the same conversation with somebody.
Several things with it. The word sex is a bad word. Don't say that in church, right? The only time you hear the word sex is
if it's some scandal attached to it.
Don't have it before marriage. Maybe you might hear that. And then when it comes down to anything as far as like married, is like adultery, or they talk about fornication, which is before, and then that's it. Like, they don't talk about the intimacy between a husband and a wife. They don't talk about
the healthiness
of it. Like, the only thing you hear in the church about sex is married sex. The bed is undefiled. That's it. Like,
and it's never expounded upon. Well, what does that mean?
Right.
What limitations or doors does that open for the married couple?
And I think so Court and I, we had a conversation with mutual friends. I think it was like 2 mutual friends, or maybe one or two mutual friends a couple years ago. And we were talking about the marriage bed being undefiled, and I was like, well, yes, but some stuff is still off limits. And they like, nah, you're married, you can do whatever you want. And I'm like, so like, it was me against the guys. And I'm like, no, because you open up certain things. Like, if I want to tie up Court to the bed and get on a full leather suit and a whip, that's just not us in the bed enjoying our marriage. That is inviting. Why are you looking at me like that?
Listening to you.
You want me to?
No.
That is like welcoming different spirits, It's a lot of stuff. Like, it can introduce a lot of perversion spirits and pornography.
There's definitely a
lot of
stuff that, and the keyword that Pastor brought up earlier was portals.
Portals, exactly.
So, like, portals that you might not even know exist, or
right,
because you're doing stuff because you might have went to a sex seminar, or saw something on TV. But hey, I want to try that.
Right.
and y'all agree upon it, but you don't know the origin of it
it's
and
like,
where
we
it comes
married,
from.
so we can do it.
And you're not even realizing that you're opening up portals unbeknownst to you.
Right.
And now you're struggling with stuff in your marriage and in your household that you don't even know why.
Right. And in college, I studied sexual deviance. Why? I don't know. But it was a part of my sociology pathway. So, a lot of stuff was talked about in this book, like stuff that I was like, what? People do that? I didn't know. I didn't know that people did all of that, right? So, like, a person could twist it and be like, but we're married, so it's okay. Mm-hmm. But you have to think about, like, the different spirits that are attached to that. So, you was about to say something. I felt like you was.
I was going to say, and you know what? If y'all believe that, do y'all. But as for me in my house.
As for me in my house.
I mean, we
I swung from some chandeliers now.
we got some, stuff.
Amen.
But.
Amen.
Nonetheless.
Play the music. No, I'm just playing. But because I feel like because of the church making it taboo and, just families all together, it's difficult to have that conversation if you're not if you ain't me, okay, because I'm gonna have that talk. We gonna talk. Nah, but like, it's really where if you are afraid of that topic, and it starts in childhood when you become afraid of it, because if it's shushed, you gonna shush it when you get older because you don't know any better. And then if you constantly are raised in church where it's like, so you think you're supposed to just have, like 9 p.m. in the bed, with the granny dress on, and you're supposed to just do it and go to sleep.
Not in my house.
Pump, pass. If that's
what?
that will create a stale marriage, and I think because I was like, that's how I was raised, essentially. Like, that was how I was conditioned to just think that, you can't do all the crazy stuff because the crazy stuff is not godly. It was a struggle for me. Don't get it twisted. It was a struggle for my mind. It was a struggle for my mind because I was like, dang, I really shouldn't be doing this. But to learn that this is my husband and I can do what I want.
You can do what you want.
Almost. Well, what I want, because
you can do what you want.
I'm not crazy, so I'm not gonna do no like crazy stuff. But like,
you can do what I want.
We're gonna have to talk about that. My first lady said, as long as both parties agree.
We agreed.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll
be right back, y'all. But no, seriously, like, it's all in the mind. And I have learned in these 25 years of my living that in these 25 years of my life,
I was waiting for you to slip over your own line.
Cordy called me 55 today.
55? You 55.
You're 100 still.
No.
He calls you 100. So in my years of living, I have just now come to the realization of how much I remember when I was younger, my family will always say, your head's so big. And then my mom would be like, your head is big because you have a big brain. And but for real, they would.
That's so sweet.
Now I know that it's true. I was very smart in grammar in high school. Thank you very much. Anyway, in college, but anyway, and I still am smart. But I hold so much. I really hold so much in my mind, like where it comes to, like, it weighs me down, and the oppression and the heaviness. And I am learning that it is okay to
shed that stuff off.
Right, some of that stuff off. Shed it off.
Throw it over the boat.
Throw it over the boat. Jonah that joint. Jonah it. Hashtag Jonah it. For real, because I don't want to live like that. Like I want to be woke, but not to the world's standards. I want to be free in my walk with God, free in my marriage, free in myself, you know, like I don't have to like put on a front for anybody because it's me and I'm gonna be me. And I don't have to put on a front for myself because that's just stupid. Like, you know how many times people do that?
All the time.
You front for yourself because you try to trick yourself.
You try to convince yourself
that you're something else, and it's like
we've all done
just
it.
Be you.
We've all done it. Sadly.
Yeah. So like I had to like learn like, okay, I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna really walk in freedom. I'm gonna really walk in being healed. I really am. I don't want to beat up anybody. I don't want to beat up anybody.
You're doing it right now.
I'm beating it up in my mind.
No, convincing yourself.
Oh. It's a working process.
But that's what I mean. Like we profess things with our mouth, but in our heart of hearts, which is what God is really looking at. Right. Even when we give God these prayers and these lip services, until you really make up in your heart of hearts.
So how do you do that? How do you change your heart? I don't. Somebody tell me, help me. How?
I don't know. I don't really have the answer. I mean, for me, in my situation, because you mentioned, like kind of where I am with the
laughing and joking.
I mean, it was. We're not friends.
The situation was crazy.
We're not friends.
It was
anymore.
It was y'all weren't even that close.
Okay. All right. Whatever you tell yourself.
Anyway, how in your heart how do you just switch your heart? How do you do that?
It really has nothing to do with that other individual. It's really me, because it was really poisoning me, and it was putting me in a really dark place. And until I was able to really, like, you know what, I want me to be okay. And that's really where I was like, you know what, I don't care, guy, you can deal with whatever on that end. But as for me, like, I need this off of me.
I hear you.
Because you can deal with the situation much better than I could anyway.
Right. And like I don't know, like I feel like I constantly, and I know this is just a trick of the enemy trying to keep me in a place, but I constantly tell myself I'm good. You know, I constantly, appear as if I'm good, and sometimes I'm not when I say that I am. But like, I just know that sometimes it'll be like, you know, the little devil, the little angel sitting on your shoulders, be like, show no weakness. And really, it's strength. You know, it's really strength when you are able to look a situation in the face and be unmoved, which is a little bit of my tussle, you know, when rescinding our invitation.
I've legit had cats like hit me up after they've seen me and the gentleman in the same in the same area, like working together and doing. They're like, "Yo, you legit like calling me out, like, yo, it couldn't be me." I'm like, "Yo, but it's not you."
Right, it ain't
not you. It was me. This is my situation, and I'm bigger than that situation.
Yeah.
And the God in me is bigger than that, so I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm God is going to, and I know for a fact because I talk too much, so I know that God is going to put me in the situation again, just because I know that this is a place that I need to be, because I need to not hold on to stuff. I need to not allow my thoughts to take me to places, because in the past I will always, like, before us, like, I would be like, my mind could take me somewhere and it could be a good place and I could really, like, legit go to that place. I would always say that. Like, I would say that a lot. And even mentally, my mind can take me to a bad place, and I could go to that place and I can be, like, livid. And I think that a lot of times, like, in my childhood, because of that, I would, like, if I fought somebody, if I got into a fight, I used to fight a lot. If I got into a fight, I could take my mind could take me to a very, very dark place, and I wouldn't even be fighting that person. I would be, like, trampling them because of the situation that my mind is in. And I got big head because I got big brain. Like, so I am learning to, like, free my mind. I'm learning to really release thoughts, release mentally things that are trying to hold me back, because I know that until I let that stuff go, I'm in my own way. I'm in God's way. And where he wants to take me, I have to learn how to let stuff go, because you had a lot of booze, and who knows, I might run into somebody else. I can't be evangelist.
Me too.
And be somebody. I was a virgin.
Yeah.
Want to shout out, speaking of circle.
There we go.
Want to shout out DJ T716. This is his shirt. Support him. Hit him up on Instagram at DJ T716. This has been All Is Fair in Love and Marriage.
Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and stick with us, because we're going places.
Good night.
Peace.